Well, good morning, everyone. I should have the microphone near me. I'm going to go ahead and call the California Board of Accountancy CPC committee meeting to order, and we will go ahead and start with a roll call. Maybe?
Michael Savoy.
Nancy Corrigan.
George Familette.
Alicia Burhow.
Carrie Ann Farrell-Hines.
All right, well, thank you very much for that, and welcome everyone. So the California Board of Accountancy Committee on Professional Conduct, we are going to go ahead and start with the approval of the minutes for September 20th, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Go ahead and do a call. Thank you.
Alicia Burhow,
Abstain.
Nancy Corrigan,
Abstain.
George Familette,
Yes.
Carrie Ann Farrell-Hines.
Yes.
Michael Savoy.
Yes.
And Mark Silverman.
Abstain.
Do we have enough to pass?
3
good?
yes, 3 abstain.
They still count. All right, motion passes. Thank you very much for that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with item 2, discussion regarding changes in eligibility requirements of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants accredited in business valuation credential. Mr. Bone, please take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, members. The purpose of this item is to discuss the recent changes to the American Institute of CPA's Accredited in Business Valuation, or ABV credential. This credential is offered by AICPA to those who qualify, and for those who qualify, it indicates that they have demonstrated a certain level of expertise in business valuation practices. These professionals often work in the areas of fair value reporting, mergers and acquisitions, and bankruptcy, to name a few. Historically, the ABV credential was only available to certified public accountants. In May of this year, AICPA changed their eligibility requirements to allow non-CPA finance professionals to qualify and obtain this credential. Following this expansion of eligibility to non-CPAs, some within the accounting profession expressed concerns with this change. Attachment 1 in your materials is an open letter discussing those concerns, and Attachment 2 is a response from the AICPA. The impact of this change to consumers is unclear, Madam Chair, and at this point, staff recommend the CBA direct staff to monitor for any potential consumer confusion and report back to the CBA with any recommended next steps. Those conclude my remarks. I'm happy to answer questions.
To open up to the board members for any questions? Otherwise, I'll start real quick. So is this, it doesn't have to be a certified public accountant. Is this someone who can be, who's in the accounting profession that can apply for this certification?
So, Madam Chair, there are 2 sets of eligibility criteria that are outlined in the comment section of the paper. One set of the criteria is common for whether you are CPA or non-CPA. You have to maintain membership, to pass a certain exam, have certain education requirements, and that sort of thing. Where they differ is if you are a CPA, you must have 1,500 hours of valuation experience. If you are a non-CPA, you must have 4,500 hours of valuation experience and hold a degree and pass an AICPA standards course.
Okay. And AICPA, they would go ahead and administer that test?
I
Or would we
believe
do
so,
that?
yeah. No. This is an entire AICPA process. This is a non-licensing function.
Thank you for that. All right, I'm done grilling you. Anyone else? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and recommend putting this back to staff to monitor?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nothing else? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, moving on to item 3, discussion and possible action to initiate a rulemaking to amend Title 16, California Code of Regulations, Section 7.1, credit status for the computerized uniform CPA examination. We'll turn it over to Deanne Pierce.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
The purpose of this agenda item is to provide an opportunity for the California Board of Accountancy to consider taking action to amend regulations to accommodate a continuous testing format for the uniform CPA examination. To provide a brief background, all state boards of accountancy require applicants to pass the uniform CPA exam and meet education and experience requirements to obtain CPA licensure. The CPA exam is a 4-part computerized exam which tests auditing and accounting knowledge areas and skills that are necessary for entry into the profession. There are presently 4 testing windows in place for administration of the CPA exam, which are determined by the AICPA. The testing windows are identified in your agenda item. A candidate may sit for any of the 4 sections of the CPA exam in any order, but may sit for each section only one time per testing window. The AICPA, in conjunction with the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy, have announced their intent to transition the CPA exam to a continuous testing format and eliminate the present testing windows. Under the present format of the CPA exam and consistent with CBA regulations, an applicant can only take an unpassed section of the exam one time during a testing window. Under continuous testing, this provision is no longer applicable. To accommodate the transition to continuous testing in 2020, a minor change in CBA Regulations Section 7.1 is being proposed as identified in the attachment in the underlined text. The amendment provides flexibility for the CBA to continue and apply the current provision of taking a section one time during a testing window, but would also allow for continuous testing when implemented by the AICPA. If the CBA approves the proposed language in the amendment, they can make a motion to initiate the rulemaking process. I would like to mention that we were recently informed that NASBA will be releasing an exposure draft shortly containing proposed language for their model rules to address continuous testing. When the exposure draft is released, staff can review to determine whether the CBA should consider further regulatory changes beyond what is being proposed today. So if the CBA supports the proposed changes to the CBA regulations, staff recommend the CBA make a motion to approve the regulatory text in CBA Regulation Section 7.1, direct staff to submit the text to the Director of the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency for review, and if no adverse comments are received, authorize the executive officer to take all steps necessary to initiate the rulemaking process, make any non-substantive changes to the package, and set the matter for hearing.
Okay.
And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. I'll open up to the board members for comments, questions, or a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a first by Mr. Savoy and a second by Mr. Silverman. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, with that, we'll call for the vote.
Okay, Mark Silverman,
Yes.
Michael Savoy,
Yes.
Carrie Ann Farrell Hines.
Yes.
George Familet,
Yes.
Nancy Corrigan,
Yes.
and Alicia Burhow.
Yes. Okay, with that, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much for that, Ms. Pierce. Okay, we'll go ahead on to item number 4, any other public comments? Okay, seeing none. Are there any new, for item 5, any agenda items for the next meeting? Anyone wants to bring up? All right, seeing none, you guys are making this easy for me. Okay, with that, we are going to, unless there's any other business, we will go ahead and adjourn. Thank you.